What it do, what it do? Welcome back, Sour Crew. It's your boy Soul, aka My Name's Not Lemon. Welcome back to another episode of Melancholia N Haloes. This episode is going to be short, sweet, simple, but it's going to pack a punch. So, if you're up to date with my episodes, thank you. This one's late. It's the first one that I've had that's been late, and it probably won't be the last. So, this past week has been very heavy. I've had to deal with a lot, and I've had to go through a lot in a short period of time, and I came out the other end a lot more knowledgeable and well-rounded. So for today's episode, I wrote some things down, and I wanted to share them with you today. Let's get into it. On Saturday, I wrote out my experiences of this past week. Started to film a podcast episode Sunday, and it ended up taking a weird turn, and a new perspective completely came out of left field. This is my second time filming this, and I think it's going to be way more honest and truthful than I initially intended it to be. Self-reflection, honesty, and confrontation. These were the subtopics of the lost episode, as I'll call it. The main topic being taking a look at myself. These three separate subtopics all blended and mingled with themselves in harmony and explained the aftermath of my week. I talked about an opportunity that I've been fighting for over the last 5-ish months and how I gave it up in an instant. I connected it with the situation that involved me that coincidentally happened at the same time. I explained how I was feeling, why I did what I did, why something happened to me, and how I was at fault, and how I was feeling a lot of conflicting emotions. While trying to explain myself, I stopped. My attitude and demeanor switched up, and I spoke honestly for the first time this past week. Maybe honestly for the first time in years. I spoke my true feelings and my honest truth. What came out of my mouth shocked the fuck out of me. I realized how I was feeling about my lost opportunity weren't my own feelings. And the situation I got myself in was completely my fault because I let myself down. I had been fighting for something for so long, and when I actually got a version of it, I realized it wasn't what I wanted. I knew it instantly. I talked it out with friends and family, lots of phone calls and FaceTime calls, looking for someone to solve my issue for me. What should I do? Please make me do it. It didn't work. It didn't work because I made my mind up the minute I knew. I took everyone's opinions into consideration. Those opinions were exactly the advice I would have given out myself. It's too soon to know. Give it time, experience. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted out. And I wanted out immediately. That for sure, I knew. All of the emotions that followed had nothing to do with me, but everything to do with everyone around me. What would they think of me? Would they belittle me? Think less of me? See me as weak? All the things I don't want to think about myself. I want to be confident and strong. I want to be appreciated and I want to matter. But the answer is actually quite simple. I didn't want that opportunity. That's not the opportunity I was looking for. Not that version of it anyways. Now how do I feel about dropping this opportunity? Empowered. Like I have the world in my hand. Like I'm able to do anything I set my mind to. Like I have the power over myself and no one else does. I said no. I said I wanted different. I said. And I listened. This brings me to the situation that happened to me the same time this opportunity came about. How'd I get myself in an unfavorable situation? I let myself think my opinion and my decision wasn't worth fulfilling at the cost of another's emotions. I put someone else above myself, and in the end, I suffered greatly. I am the only party in this situation that is suffering, and it's my fault. No one else is to blame. I could have stuck to my guns. I could have held my head high. I could have proudly proclaimed what I wanted and how I wanted it. But I wasn't thinking of me. I was thinking of everyone else. So as everyone else was satisfied, I was left empty and hollow. I believe it was this situation that pushed me over the edge and ultimately allowed me to drop the opportunity I was given, allowing myself to trust and listen to myself for the first time. I did for me and no one else. And for that reason, I feel on top of the world. So what can I say about this situation? How did I handle it, and why is it my fault? This situation, of course, involves other people. Therefore, I can't go into detail. But what I can talk about is my perspective and how I saw and reacted to things. Have you ever told someone no, or your opinion on something, and then slowly but surely that someone would constantly tell you things that would make you start to question your initial stance and or your opinion? For example, you just got a new car, and your brother wants to borrow it. You tell him no. You don't want anyone else to take responsibility for the car, because if anything happens to it, it lands on you. Over the course of the next few weeks, your brother brings up borrowing your car constantly, and always talks about the benefits of doing so. He'll run more of the household errands. Since he wants to drive, he'll run your errands for you, saving you a lot of time. He'll fill your gas tank up every time he uses it. You're still unsure, but eventually you give in, because you've been hearing all about the time and money you've been saving if you just let him borrow your car. You trust him. He never mentioned all the extracurricular activities he'd use your car for while running errands. He never mentioned how he'd be driving your car. A week or two after you let him borrow your car, you notice a leak coming from the bottom of you. He comes clean. Turns out he went off-roading with your non-off-roading car because he was high and was just having a good time with the homies. Is he to blame? Yes, it's his fault. He fucked it up. But you're responsible for the car. It's your car. You're the one that let him borrow it in the first place. You trusted him. Therefore, at the end of the day, you're the one responsible. You're at fault. That's basically the situation I'm in. And now I have to deal with the consequences. How'd I get myself into this situation? I blindly trusted. I backed down from my initial stance, and I let my opinion go for the sake of someone else's desires. I said yes, when in reality, I was indifferent and unsure. I told myself that going with the situation would benefit me in a certain way. Did it? Possibly, but not enough to matter. What I got from this is never to back down, and if I feel as though my opinion or stance isn't respected, get up and leave. It's not worth it. So how does this coincide with the opportunity I gave up? The situation happened to unfold the day my opportunity was at its peak. I was unsure, stressed, and disappointed with this opportunity. I was completely taken by surprise with what this opportunity had to offer and was not prepared in the slightest. I felt underprepared, slow, taken advantage of, underappreciated, scared, and completely confused. Adding on to these emotions, the fallout from the situation made me realize if I had stood my ground, I wouldn't be in an unfavorable position. So I thought the same about the opportunity. If I stood my ground, it wouldn't have a major negative impact in my life. So that's what I did. I stood my ground and walked away. Something I have never done before, and something that is completely foreign to me. I walked away feeling shitty and guilty. Shitty because I waited and worked so hard for an opportunity like this, and it wasn't what I expected. Guilty because everyone was rooting for me. This led me to the 3 subtopics I mentioned earlier: self-reflection, honesty, and confrontation. Self-reflection. I take mental strength extremely seriously and hold it to a high standard above all else. I don't care about my physical appearance. I don't care about my career status. I care about how I view myself mentally and how emotionally strong I am. When I look to other people, I judge them based on those same principles. Are they healing themselves? Are they toxic? Are they working on what they need to work on in terms of mental so that they come out balanced and more well-rounded? I don't care what you do, how you carry yourself, only how you treat yourself and others, and how you handle your mental health. Having to self-reflect, look deeply within myself, and to have to admit that I could not handle this opportunity was extremely embarrassing, difficult, and felt like a low blow to my pride and ego. Going into this opportunity, I walked tall, confidently, proudly, and with a huge smile on my face. When I walked out, I was deflated, bruised, disappointed, and on the verge of tears. I couldn't do it, but I wanted to so badly. I was surprised that it only took me a day to admit to myself that I had failed. There's nothing wrong with failure, of course not. We can't be the best at everything, and not everything is a perfect match for us. We can't do it all. Now, almost a week later, I know that. I've experienced that, and I've accepted that. Honesty. If I hadn't been upfront with myself, my mental health would have suffered greatly. I would be on a downward spiral towards self-destructive behaviors and thoughts. I knew that. I know that about myself. I know what I do when I start to spiral, how I self-isolate, how I treat and think about myself, how I cut off from society, how I stop enjoying the little things in life and solely beat myself up. It took me being truthful to myself to be able to stand up tall and do what I thought was right for me at that specific point in time. I know better. I understand myself more now than any other point and time in my life. Self-reflecting led me to be honest, which pointed me in the right direction to be able to take care of myself. Confrontation. Not only did I have to confront myself as I self-reflected and as I was being truthful with myself, I had to confront the people around me. The people that cared about me. Yes, they were disappointed, but I held my head high, looked them in the eyes, and told them I knew what was best for me. The responses that followed shocked me. They agreed that they didn't think I would be able to handle that opportunity, but no one said anything prior. And I'm glad they didn't, because I was able to experience it firsthand. But it also showed me that the people closest to me understood me and knew my limits better than I knew myself at that time. I can't lie, I was a little disappointed that they viewed me as not being able to handle the opportunity like the one I was given. But that's solely due to me feeling like I want to be able to do it all. In reality, that's immature and unfeasible. I should know my strengths and know my weaknesses. Know what I'm good at and what I could handle, as well as what I can't do and what would make me buckle under pressure. Confronting myself showed me just that. Now moving forward, I'm going to have a better understanding on what's best for me in an array of situations. So I gave up an opportunity, and I'm stuck with consequences from an unfavorable situation. I came out the other side way more knowledgeable, realistic, and with a new sense of profound respect for myself. If these consequences are able to get dealt with quickly and easily, I'd say that what came out of all this would be worth it. The lessons and enlightenment that I've achieved from these events have pushed me towards a better, healthier, more balanced, and well-rounded version of myself that I could honestly that I can honestly say I love. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel, and I can't wait to see what this new mindset I have will bring me. Only time will tell, and I guess you'll be hearing about it in future episodes of the pod. Thanks for listening, Sour Crew. Until next time. So all that might have been a lot. It was a wild week, extremely busy and jam-packed, and I had to learn a lot from the opportunity that I got and gave up, from the situation that I put myself in, that I feel like I've put myself in many, many, many times before. My track record is horrible for similar situations that I've been in that relate to this one. And I think this was the final straw. This was it. This showed me, taught me, and made me really self-aware of the type of person that I am. The lost episode I mentioned earlier, the one that I recorded this weekend, which was supposed to be this episode, that I scrapped, was weird. Like I had mentioned before, while I was talking, and I was talking upbeat, hello, Sour Crew, hi, and then my attitude and demeanor did switch up, and I became really serious and kind of cold, and really blunt. And to be honest, I thought it made me come off real motherfucking crazy. Like this was the start of my villain origin story. And so I just stopped talking and I scrapped it. And I took more time to think things through and write things out. And that's what I came up with today's episode. Maybe that lost episode will see the light of day so you can see what I was talking about. And it honestly, what I had wrote for that episode was a lie. I was lying to myself. Lying about how I felt. Because I think that I thought that that's how I had to feel. And that's how I had to process information. Because that's what was expected, or if that's what other people do. And then it led me to now. Led me to my truth and to how I'm actually feeling. I don't care. But when it was all happening, I did. Because I felt like I had to. I knew what was best for me. I knew what I wanted. But I felt like I could not stay true to that. Because I had obligations held up by other people. And during that lost episode, I really said, fuck that shit. Fuck this. Fuck being this nice, kind person. It gets you nowhere. It really, really doesn't get you anywhere. Am I kind? Am I nice? Yes. Can you be kind and nice? Yes. Can you have good values and morals? Of course you can. But you also have to defend yourself. You also have to stick up for yourself and stand proud. If you are a nice, kind person, okay. But don't get walked all over. Because people will walk all over you. They don't care. They want what they want and they're going to get what they want. And if they can get it from you, they're going to get it from you. I know that now. Because I was misled. I was nice. I was kind. I was understanding, upfront, truthful. And I was misled. And now I have to deal with those consequences. It's my fault. With this opportunity, I was going down that same fucking road. And it's something I've never experienced before. But that situation taught me. It taught me real fucking quick. And what I learned, I brought into that opportunity, and I knew it was going to be the same. It was a double whammy in this fucking lesson I had to learn. And I learned it. I think I saved myself. Sorry, you're like coughing? My bad. I think I saved myself from weeks of suffering. Weeks of thinking I had to do what I had to do because other people told me I had to. So I got the fuck out. And I'm happy I did. Because I've come a long way. And for me to throw that all away for a normal ass opportunity? Why? For what? I'm the only one that cares and can manage myself. Me, myself, and I. It's you, yourself, and you. At the end of the day, it is. You may have people around you that really care for you, really want to uplift you, and are really there for you. But at the end of the day, you're an individual. And it is about you. You can't be a good parent to your kids if you're not a good person to yourself. You can't be a good partner to someone and love them if you don't love yourself and you're not good to yourself. You can't be a good child to your parents if you're not good to yourself. You can't put other people above you, because then what's going to be left of you? If you get taken advantage of, misled and abused, you're going to crumble, you're going to fall. And God forbid, there's life-changing alterations that you have to make to your life because of the decisions you've made because you put someone else first. God forbid. I had to learn that. And I'm hoping for the best, and I'm hoping the situation I'm in gets resolved quickly and easily. But that's not always an option. And that's something I'm going to have to deal with because I put myself in that situation. So I let go of that opportunity because I wasn't going to put myself in another situation. For what? I deserve better. And that's what I learned this past week. And I'm glad I took the time to really think things through and that I didn't put out that episode. Because not only was I lying to myself, but the advice I was giving was false. The experiences that I was giving was manipulated. And now you have the truth. Until next time, Sour Crew, thanks for listening. Wapa.